Here's the truth. Everything you believe to be solid isn't. What you call reality is not fixed matter, but a living vibration inside the quantum field. The chair you sit on, the room around you, even the body you identify with, it's all energy, constantly collapsing and reforming according to invisible laws. For centuries, quantum physicists have explored this mystery. Through quantum mechanics, they discovered that the universe is not a machine, but a mirror. It reflects the consciousness that is observing it. This is what mystics called the quantum realm, and what science now validates. Your attention is not passive. It is active creation. This is why we speak of quantum manifestation. You are not chasing your future, you are broadcasting it. Every thought, every feeling becomes your quantum signature, a frequency transmitted into the quantum universe. And the universe, without fail, sends it back to you, not as random coincidence, but as resonance. Think about your life right now. The repetitive thoughts that cycle through your mind, the emotions you keep revisiting, the stories you tell yourself over and over. These are not just mental habits. They are quantum memories, waves of information playing on repeat, like a melody that refuses to stop. Each time you identify with them, you draw another card from the same deck of quantum cards, and the result looks identical to yesterday. Here lies the quantum fact that changes everything. You don't live in a single, linear reality. You live in a field of infinite quantum fields, countless possibilities existing side by side. Every grain of time is like quantum sand, slipping through your fingers, yet holding the pattern of entire universes. And every choice, every observation, determines which world solidifies before your eyes. Most people remain unaware of this. They look into the mirror of life and see only repetition. They don't realize those reflections are quantum mirrors, showing them the consequence of their own vibration. What feels like destiny is often just a quantum anchor, keeping them bound to yesterday's energy. But you are not trapped. You are quantumly linked to infinite versions of yourself. Versions already free, already thriving, already walking a different timeline. The path toward them begins when you become quantum aware, when you activate your quantum sensitivity and notice the hidden patterns shaping your world. And once you notice, something remarkable happens. Your entire being undergoes a quantum reconfiguration. The old loops begin to dissolve. Your energetic state shifts. A new vibrational frequency emerges. The observer effect no longer binds you, it liberates you. So in this exploration, we will move beyond theory. We'll enter the quantum world not as a concept, but as an experience. You'll discover how your thoughts, your emotions, and even your silence reshape the electromagnetic field around you. You'll see why the multiverse is not science fiction, but your lived reality. And most importantly, you'll feel how the consciousness observing itself, your awareness of being aware, is the doorway into transformation. This is not just information, it's activation. By the end of this journey, you won't only understand the quantum field, you'll experience it. And once you do, nothing in your reality will ever look the same again. Look around for a moment. Everything you see feels permanent, unshakable, and solid. The floor beneath your feet, the walls around you, even the body you inhabit. It all seems undeniable. But this solidity is an illusion. Physics tells us, and your own intuition has whispered it too, that matter is nothing more than energy slowed down. What appears fixed is really a dance of probabilities inside the quantum field. The field doesn't care about appearances. It responds to the invisible code you project into it. Every thought, every emotional charge, every silent belief becomes part of your energetic state, broadcasting itself like a signal. The universe doesn't receive this signal as words. It doesn't understand affirmations or vision boards. It reads vibration. It reads your quantum signature, and it reflects that signature with precision. This is where the mystery of quantum mechanics meets the intimacy of your daily life. Scientists measure subatomic particles flickering in and out of existence. Mystics describe the same process as the quantum realm, a space of infinite becoming. What's fascinating is that these two perspectives, once considered opposites, now point to the same truth. Reality is not solid. It is fluid. It responds to you. Think of your memories. They are not locked away in your brain like books on a shelf. They are quantum memories, waves of information resonating in the field. Each time you replay one, you collapse that probability again, re-experiencing not just the thought, but the emotional chemistry that came with it. This is why certain feelings repeat like echoes. You are literally calling them back into form. Imagine life as a deck of quantum cards. Every day you shuffle them with your emotions, and whichever card you draw becomes the reality you live. But here's the problem. Most people never change the deck. They pull the same cards over and over because their state never shifts. It feels like destiny, but it's simply repetition. Even time itself isn't what you think. Every second is like quantum sand, falling grain by grain, carrying not just moments but entire universes within it. Every grain holds potential worlds, waiting for your attention to bring one into form. The fact that you wake up to the same reality each morning isn't fate. It's the reflection of yesterday's vibration replayed. Here's a hidden quantum fact. What you call your world is only one version among infinite quantum fields. Each field contains a timeline, a possibility, an alternate self. The multiverse isn't science fiction. It's the most accurate description of your actual existence. You are not locked into one track. You are surrounded by doorways. But you only walk through the doorway that matches your frequency. That's why patterns feel so heavy. Your emotional state becomes a quantum anchor, keeping you locked to the same outcomes. You wake up expecting disappointment, and so disappointment finds you. You anticipate rejection, and rejection arrives right on schedule. Not because life is cruel, but because the field is loyal. It mirrors the quantum effects you broadcast. This is the illusion of solid reality. It's not solid at all. It is mirrors and echoes, feedback from the quantum world repeating until you decide differently. The moment you shift awareness, you begin to notice cracks in the wall of certainty. A synchronicity here, a new opportunity there, a subtle feeling that you've tuned into something new. These are signals of reconfiguration, moments when the old timeline begins to dissolve and a new one starts forming. So pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what cards have I been playing? What sand have I been letting slip unnoticed? Which mirrors have I mistaken for destiny? If your life feels like it's on repeat, it's not because you're broken. It's because you've been tuned to the same field for too long. And the invitation of the quantum universe is this: tune differently, and reality itself must rearrange. And if you're ready to keep tuning differently, to keep rising into this new resonance, make sure to subscribe right now, because this isn't just a video, it's a frequency. Every chapter we share is designed to anchor you deeper into the field. Stay aligned, stay elevated, and let's step into the next timeline together. When you wake up each morning, it feels like a new day is waiting for you. But the truth is, most people don't enter a new day at all. They enter the same identity they carried yesterday, the same patterns, the same emotional chemistry, the same unconscious choices. It feels automatic because it is. Your body has memorized your former self, and without awareness, it insists on replaying that program. This isn't your fault. Neuroscience shows us that by the time you reach your mid-30s, more than 90% of your being is operating from memorized responses, unconscious routines, embedded perspectives, emotional triggers. What you call me is often just a rehearsed identity on repeat. This is the weight you feel in your chest, the quiet whisper of doubt, the inner critic telling you to keep expectations low. It's not your truth. It's simply the old programming of your nervous system. Think of your body as a walking electromagnetic field, broadcasting signals into the quantum field every moment. Each feeling generates a vibrational frequency, and that frequency becomes a message to the universe. The problem is, if you keep broadcasting the same outdated frequency, you'll keep collapsing the same outcomes. Not because life is unfair, but because the observer effect is precise. Reality mirrors who you are while observing it. This is why identity transformation feels so challenging. You're not only changing thoughts, you're breaking an emotional dependency. a biochemical addiction to being that old version of yourself. Your system learned long ago that expecting less felt safer. Predictability felt secure, even if it was painful. That program became your quantum anchor, locking you into the same timelines over and over. But here's the awakening. You are not your programming. You are the awareness capable of observing it. And when consciousness observes itself, the story changes. In that instant of observation, the wave of possibility collapses, and you become something new. This is the gateway into the quantum realm, where your elevated self already exists, waiting for you to tune into its frequency. Pause and consider. What emotions do you experience most often? Is it doubt, frustration, shame, or fear? These feelings are not random. They are practiced. They are signals your body has rehearsed, embedding them as part of your chemical identity. And every time you embody them, your quantum signature sends that frequency into the field, magnetizing the very experiences you're trying to avoid. This explains why so many people work hard, recite affirmations, build vision boards, and still feel stuck. It's not that they're doing it wrong. It's that they're trying to build a future from the foundation of the old self. You can't pull new possibilities into form while remaining loyal to the same vibrational resonance. Your future self, the one already thriving, healed, aligned, doesn't simply think differently. They breathe differently. They walk with a different rhythm. They respond to life from a place of coherence instead of survival. They're not waiting for external validation. They're not broadcasting scarcity or fear. Their energetic state is a harmonious transmission that the quantum universe cannot ignore. This is where transformation becomes possible, not by destroying your past self, but by witnessing it with compassion and letting it dissolve, by stepping into the elevated frequency that already exists, by realizing you are quantumly linked to every version of yourself across the multiverse. And the only question is, which version will you embody today? Reality reorganizes when you stop identifying with the old story and begin living as the new one. Each small choice is a signal, each new thought a reconfiguration, each elevated feeling a declaration. You don't need to beg the universe, you only need to align with it. Because once your resonance shifts, the field has no option but to mirror it back. That's not magic, that's quantum physics. And if this truth is stirring something inside you, let this be your signal. Press like right now, not just as support, but as an energetic action, a declaration that you're done replaying the past and ready to align with the frequency of your higher self. Your life isn't shaped by what you want, it's shaped by what you consistently feel. Every emotion, no matter how small, radiates into the quantum field like a signal, transmitting your state of being into the wider universe. You may say, I want love, I want prosperity, I want freedom. But if your emotional foundation is fear, lack, or doubt, the field doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your vibration. This is one of the most overlooked truths of quantum mechanics. The field is precise. It reflects resonance. It's not listening for your affirmations. It's mirroring your energetic state. That's why so many people feel frustrated with manifestation methods. They visualize, they repeat mantras, but deep down their nervous system is still addicted to anxiety, still rehearsing rejection, still expecting disappointment. And so the outcomes remain the same. Think of your emotions as the tuning fork of your reality. If you're broadcasting guilt, you magnetize situations that validate guilt. If you're broadcasting unworthiness, you'll unconsciously push away opportunities that require self-trust. It's not punishment, it's coherence. The electromagnetic field of your heart and mind is always broadcasting, and the quantum realm is always listening. Scientists call this vibrational frequency. Mystics call it resonance. In both languages, the truth is the same. You are constantly transmitting a signal that organizes the world around you. That's why two people can walk into the same room and experience completely different realities. One is tuned to scarcity, the other is tuned to abundance. Both are surrounded by the same opportunities, but their quantum signatures filter which ones collapse into form. Here's where it becomes even more fascinating. Emotional patterns are not accidents. They are practiced states of being. Your body remembers them like grooves carved into stone. This is why it feels so difficult to break cycles. You're not fighting external forces. You're rewiring your own quantum memories. But the moment you choose to embody a new frequency, everything changes. When you shift from fear to gratitude, from doubt to trust, from survival to coherence, your entire signal reorganizes. The observer effect shows us that reality collapses differently depending on who is watching. When you begin observing from your elevated self, the possibilities available to you expand in ways your old self could never imagine. It's like flipping through a deck of quantum cards. For years, you've drawn the same ones: disappointment, scarcity, fear. But in truth, infinite cards are available: joy, abundance, synchronicity, harmony. The only requirement is that your frequency matches the card you're ready to draw. This is why transformation isn't about effort, it's about alignment. You don't chase a new reality, you attune to it. You stop identifying with the old self who expected less, and you step into the version of you who already lives in resonance with everything you've asked for. The universe doesn't reorganize itself because you deserve more. It reorganizes because you've become more. And when you do, synchronicities appear. Doors open, people arrive, opportunities align. It feels magical, but it's not magic. It's quantum physics working with precision. So I ask you now, what emotional frequency have you been broadcasting, and what are you ready to transmit instead? Pause for a moment, breathe deeply, and declare it in the comments below. The former me has been dissolved. I am broadcasting the frequency of my true self. This isn't just interaction, it's your energetic signature, a ripple in the quantum universe that says you're no longer available for yesterday's vibration. Every day, without realizing it, you are watching yourself into existence. The way you observe reality, the meaning you assign to it, the frequency you hold while witnessing it, all of this collapses probabilities into form. This is the power of the observer effect, and it's not just theoretical physics. It is the mechanism through which your life continually reorganizes itself. Think about this carefully. You are not simply a participant in reality. You are its witness, its interpreter, its chooser. What you see is not a fixed external world, but a mirror of your energetic state. The quantum field is endlessly flexible. It doesn't lock you into one outcome. It arranges itself around the quality of the awareness looking at it. This means that the identity you embody while observing is just as important as the act of observation itself. Two people can look at the same situation and walk away with opposite realities. One perceives limitation, another sees opportunity. One sees chaos, another feels synchronicity. The difference isn't in the world, it's in the quantum signature of the observer. This is why transformation begins with identity, not circumstances. You don't wait for the world to shift so you can feel differently. You shift first, and the world follows. In quantum language, this is resonance. In human language, it feels like alignment, coherence, harmony. Think of your mind as a mirror. When the mirror is clouded with old stories, guilt, fear, and resentment, everything you reflect back will appear distorted. When the mirror clears, the reflection changes, not because the world itself was altered, but because you finally perceived it without interference. This is also why emotional loops are so powerful. When you wake up already rehearsing the feelings of yesterday, you project that version of yourself into today. Your quantum anchor keeps pulling you back into the same loops. The body remembers the chemicals of anger, the tension of fear, the shallowness of doubt. And so, without realizing it, you broadcast those frequencies into the quantum realm again and again. But here's the shift. Once you start to observe those patterns instead of becoming them, something remarkable happens. The moment you witness your thoughts and emotions without identifying with them, you activate a higher level of awareness. This is your elevated self, the aspect of you that isn't trapped in the loops, the part that is quantumly linked to every possible version of you across the multiverse. When you choose to watch rather than repeat, you weaken the neural pathways that reinforce the old self. The grooves of fear, shame, or doubt begin to soften. At the same time, new pathways associated with your expanded identity strengthen. This is how identity transformation becomes embodied, not by force, but by attention. You stop feeding energy to the old timeline, and it dissolves. Neuroscience confirms this shift. Studies show that when you practice observer awareness, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for conscious choice, activates. Simultaneously, the amygdala, the seat of fear and survival, begins to quiet. This neurological reconfiguration is the physical expression of a deeper truth. Your consciousness observing itself creates transformation. Ancient traditions knew this long before science measured it. They spoke of the witness, the silent awareness behind all thoughts. They understood that liberation comes not from adding more layers, but from peeling them away until the essence of self remains. In quantum terms, this is collapsing the probability wave of your old identity and stepping into resonance with a new one. As this practice deepens, your entire electromagnetic field begins to shift. Coherence replaces chaos. Your heart generates rhythms of gratitude and appreciation, broadcasting signals that are entirely different from the static of fear or doubt. And because the quantum universe is precise, it responds accordingly. New synchronicities appear, non-local correlations, those meaningful coincidences that defy logic, begin to unfold. What once seemed random starts to feel orchestrated. The right people arrive at the right time. The solutions you were searching for reveal themselves. Opportunities align in ways you could never have planned. This is not chance. It is the quantum effects of a new signal, the resonance of a new self. But let's be clear, this isn't about perfection. The old self doesn't disappear overnight. It will resurface, not to sabotage you, but to be seen. Each time it returns, you're given a choice. Fall back into identification or remain the witness. And each time you choose observation over reaction, you strengthen the new timeline. This process is not about destroying the past. It's about dissolving what no longer serves, honoring the role it played, and releasing it so a higher version of you can emerge. The quantum realm doesn't demand effort. It demands awareness. The frequency you embody while observing is the blueprint of your reality. So the question becomes, who are you while you watch? Are you the old identity, clouded by pain and predictability? Or are you the elevated self, aligned with coherence, harmony, and the infinite possibilities of the quantum world? Because the mirror of existence will always return the gaze you offer it. Reality doesn't emerge from thought alone. It arises from the fusion of thought and feeling, of electrical impulses in the brain and magnetic waves from the heart. Together, these signals form your vibrational frequency, a living transmission that instructs the quantum field on what version of reality to stabilize around you. Most people underestimate this. They assume reality responds to what they say, what they write down, or what they visualize briefly before returning to old patterns. But the quantum universe isn't responding to surface wishes. It responds to the coherence of your entire being. When your heart, mind, and body send a unified signal, the field mirrors that resonance with precision. When they're misaligned, the field reflects the conflict. Consider how often people live divided lives. They affirm abundance but feel scarcity in their chest. They visualize love but still expect rejection. They speak of freedom but remain attached to fear. In each case, the quantum signature broadcast is fragmented, and the outcomes reflect that fragmentation. This is why transformation feels inconsistent. The signal being sent is inconsistent. But when coherence emerges, reality reorganizes. When your mind generates thoughts of gratitude, your body feels the chemistry of peace, and your heart radiates appreciation. You enter vibrational alignment. In that moment, your electromagnetic field amplifies in strength and clarity. The quantum effects of this state are measurable: greater synchronicity, faster manifestation, and an increased sense of harmony with the world around you. This is what mystics meant when they spoke of harmony between inner and outer worlds. And this is what quantum physicists point to when they describe resonance and non-local correlations. When your internal signal achieves coherence, The external universe cannot help but match it. Think of it like a symphony. Each instrument represents a part of your being, mind, heart, body, memory. When they're playing in dissonance, the music is chaotic. The world mirrors that chaos back to you. But when the instruments align into harmony, the melody organizes reality around it. The quantum field responds like an orchestra conductor, rearranging the pieces of existence to reflect your internal coherence. This is why alignment isn't optional. It's the foundation of creation. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. And what you are is determined by the frequency you embody, moment by moment. Now pause and think of your past experiences. How often did your emotions betray your intentions? You may have desired success, but your hidden frequency was doubt. You may have prayed for love, but your nervous system broadcast fear of abandonment. You may have dreamed of freedom, yet carried the heaviness of guilt. And so the quantum realm reflected those hidden vibrations back to you with precision. The beauty of this realization is that nothing is fixed. Your frequency is not a sentence, it is a choice. The quantum field doesn't demand that you earn alignment. It only mirrors it when you achieve it. Each breath, each thought, each emotion is an opportunity to retune your signal. This is where the practice of observer awareness becomes powerful. By watching your emotional state without judgment, you begin to loosen the grip of the old self. You realize that fear, doubt, or shame are not who you are. They are simply practiced vibrations. And the moment you stop identifying with them, you create space for new frequencies to emerge. In that space, your elevated self appears, not as a distant dream, but as a present reality. You begin to sense the coherence of gratitude, the clarity of trust, the stability of peace. These are not emotions you force. They are natural states that rise when the weight of the old identity dissolves. And when they rise, your quantum anchor shifts from survival to creation. This is the architecture of reality. You are not building a future brick by brick. You are tuning into a vibration, and the universe reorganizes itself around that vibration. The timeline you experience, the people you meet, the synchronicities you encounter, all of them are non-local correlations arising from the resonance you broadcast. So the true work is not effort, but alignment. Not struggle, but coherence. Not chasing, but embodying. When you embody the frequency of your desired life now, the multiverse opens doors that were invisible before. And in those doors lies the reminder: you were never waiting for reality to change. Reality was waiting for you. What if I told you that every version of you already exists? The confident one, the healed one, the prosperous one, they are not distant dreams, but living possibilities within the multiverse. In the language of quantum physics, time is not linear. Reality doesn't unfold from point A to point B. Instead, it exists as countless overlapping presents, each vibrating at its own frequency. This means the you who doubts and fears, and the you who thrives and trusts, are both real. They are quantumly linked, resonating inside the greater quantum field, waiting for your awareness to collapse one into form. The choice isn't made with effort, but with vibration, with what you embody. Most people never realize this. They keep identifying with the old self, rehearsing the same emotions, recycling the same thoughts, and so they continue walking the same timeline. They are unaware that with a single shift in resonance, they could step into an entirely new version of reality. Think of each self as a mirror in a vast hall. You stand in the center, surrounded by infinite reflections. When you embody fear, one reflection lights up. When you embody trust, another comes alive. Each mirror is a quantum realm, waiting for you to step through. The universe doesn't restrict which reflection you can choose. It simply organizes around the quantum signature you broadcast. This is why your inner world is the true navigation system. Call it quantum navigation, the ability to steer not with force, but with coherence. Your thoughts provide direction, but your emotions provide the fuel. Together, they chart your path through the multiverse of possibilities. Here's the paradox. The future you desire isn't waiting in front of you. It already exists beside you, in a parallel vibration. You don't chase it, you align with it. Each time you embody gratitude instead of fear, trust instead of doubt, love instead of resentment, you take a step into that timeline. The field doesn't respond to your effort. It responds to your resonance. This is why you may have noticed synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that defy logic. A person calls just as you think of them. An opportunity appears the moment you decide you're ready. These are not accidents. They are quantum effects of alignment, signs that you've tuned into a new frequency. But stepping into these timelines requires releasing loyalty to the old self. The identity that was forged through pain, disappointment, or rejection feels familiar, but it is not who you are. It is only a mask, a practiced vibration. Your true self is beyond those limitations, aware, expansive, and deeply connected to the quantum universe. And here's the hidden truth. Every time you choose from your higher self, you strengthen that version. Every time you embody trust, the neural pathways of fear weaken. Every time you practice gratitude, your body memorizes a new chemical state. Every time you remain present as the observer, your field reorganizes itself. Transformation doesn't happen someday. It happens now, in each micro-choice. Each moment you step into coherence, you collapse a new probability wave. Each time you embody your elevated self, the quantum world reconfigures around you. So look closely at your life right now. The people around you, the opportunities in front of you, even the challenges, they are mirrors of your current vibration. And the question is simple: which mirror will you choose next? If you're ready to keep stepping into the self that already exists in the higher timelines, then subscribe right now. Not just to this channel, but to the frequency we are building together. Each chapter is another doorway into coherence, another reflection of who you truly are. Stay aligned, stay present, and step into the resonance of your future self. Every pattern in your life, every cycle that repeats, is not random. It's resonance. The quantum field does not discriminate between what you want and what you fear. It simply reflects the vibrational frequency you embody most consistently. This is why change can feel so difficult. You are not just trying to think differently. You are working against years of emotional programming, biochemical loops, and quantum memories that hold you to the past. Think about it. Your body doesn't just remember events. It remembers how those events felt. The fear before rejection, the tightness of loss, the sting of failure. These sensations carve grooves into your nervous system, teaching your body that safety lies in repetition, even when the repetition hurts, even when it blocks growth. This is what becomes your quantum anchor, silently pulling you back to old timelines. But here's the deeper truth. None of this defines you. These frequencies are not your essence. They are rehearsed states of being, patterns of survival. The real you, the elevated self, exists beyond them, in coherence with the quantum realm, tuned to harmony rather than fear. The shift begins with awareness. When you catch yourself cycling through old emotions and you stop identifying with them, you weaken the program. The moment you say, "This is a pattern, not me," you step into observer awareness. And when you observe without becoming, the wave collapses differently. You move from being unconsciously driven to consciously choosing. This is the power of quantum mechanics applied to life. The act of witnessing dissolves the false solidity of the old self. Your former identity, no matter how heavy it feels, is not permanent. It is only stabilized by the energy you keep giving it. Withdraw that energy, and the entire structure crumbles. You've already seen glimpses of this. Think of moments when you felt light, free, or deeply aligned. Those flashes weren't accidents. They were reminders of your natural state, windows into the quantum world you're meant to inhabit. But because the old programs are familiar, you slip back. Not because you're weak, but because your system is addicted to the chemistry of the past. The work, then, is not to fight the old self, but to stop feeding it. Imagine your emotions as frequencies on a dial. Every time you practice fear, you tune to the same static. Every time you choose gratitude, you align with clarity. The more you tune to coherence, the stronger that station becomes. The weaker the old signals grow. This is why transformation feels like death and rebirth. One identity dissolves as another emerges. The ancient traditions called it the death of the ego. In quantum terms, It's simply reconfiguration. One signal collapses, another takes its place, and with it, a new version of reality appears. The observer effect makes this clear. Who you are while you observe determines what manifests. If you watch life through the lens of fear, the field collapses into fearful outcomes. If you watch through coherence, the field reflects harmony. This isn't philosophy, it's physics. So ask yourself, which frequencies are you still loyal to? Which patterns are you ready to dissolve? Because here lies the invitation. The moment you release the heaviness, you allow the quantum universe to respond differently. Synchronicities emerge, doors open, people arrive. None of it forced, simply aligned. Reality reshapes itself, not because you demanded it, but because you attuned to it. And here's the paradox that frees you. You don't create the new self, you remember them. They already exist, quantumly linked to you across the multiverse. Every choice you make, every frequency you embody, pulls you closer to that version. The only separation is resonance. When you stop being the echo of your old self, you begin to embody the song of your higher self. That song is already playing. It has always been playing. The question is, are you ready to tune in? If you are, make your declaration simple. Comment below, "I love me," not as a phrase, but as a symbol, a ripple in the field, a signal to your future self that you are done with the old frequency and aligned with the new. At the center of transformation lies a single principle: coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in different directions, the quantum field receives a fractured signal. The result is confusion, inconsistency, repetition. But when these elements of your being come into alignment, your vibrational frequency becomes stable, clear, and powerful. In that moment, reality reorganizes to reflect it. Coherence is not something abstract, it is measurable, physical. The heart generates an electromagnetic field that extends far beyond the body. When you are in states of fear, anxiety, or anger, that field becomes chaotic. The rhythms are irregular, the signals fragmented. But when you enter states of gratitude, love, or appreciation, the rhythms synchronize. The field shifts into coherence. And because the quantum universe mirrors the signals it receives, your external world begins to mirror that harmony. Think of it like tuning an instrument. When a string is out of tune, the entire piece of music feels off, even if you play every note correctly. Life works the same way. You can speak affirmations, visualize success, and even work tirelessly toward goals. But if the internal signal is dissonant, the external results will reflect that dissonance. The quantum mechanics of alignment are precise. You do not manifest what you want. You manifest what you resonate. This explains why moments of true clarity feel so powerful. They are not fleeting accidents. They are glimpses of what happens when coherence is achieved. Suddenly, synchronicities appear. Opportunities emerge without effort. People show up as if called by an invisible signal. These are not coincidences. They are quantum effects. Evidence that your internal resonance has become strong enough to reorganize external probabilities. The ancients understood this. They practiced breathwork, meditation, and ritual not as empty ceremonies, but as ways to bring coherence to the inner world. Their wisdom mirrors what science now confirms. Coherence is the bridge between potential and manifestation. When consciousness observes itself with clarity, the field collapses into new patterns. This is where observer awareness becomes central. When you witness your thoughts and emotions without fusing with them, you disrupt the automatic programming of the old self. The body's addiction to past chemistry begins to weaken. Your nervous system starts to reorganize. In that space, coherence becomes possible. The old survival patterns dissolve, and the elevated self begins to take form. It's important to understand that coherence does not mean perfection. It does not mean never feeling fear or doubt again. It means maintaining alignment even when old frequencies arise. Fear may whisper, but coherence reminds you that fear is not your truth. Doubt may surface, but coherence anchors you in trust. Each time you choose alignment over fragmentation, you strengthen the resonance of your elevated identity. Imagine your life as a series of overlapping timelines within the multiverse. Each timeline is accessible, but only when your signal matches its frequency. If your broadcast is fragmented, you drift between them without stability. If your broadcast is coherent, you lock onto a timeline with precision. This is why consistency is more important than intensity. A single moment of elevated emotion can open a window, but sustained coherence opens the door and allows you to walk through. This is also why small practices matter. Choosing gratitude in a moment of stress, breathing deeply when anxiety rises, observing rather than reacting. These are not trivial actions. They are recalibrations of your quantum signature, each one bringing you closer to the frequency of the reality you desire. Over time, these micro-choices accumulate, and the field has no choice but to mirror them back. And here lies the paradox. The external world doesn't change first. You do. You stop embodying the old signals. You stop replaying the old story. You begin transmitting a new frequency, and reality reflects it. Not instantly, not always dramatically, but inevitably. Because the quantum field cannot resist coherence. As you practice, you will begin to notice more non-local correlations, events that defy logic yet feel perfectly aligned, a chance meeting that changes everything, a solution that arrives at the exact moment it's needed, a door that opens where none existed before. These are signs that your resonance has stabilized. You are no longer scattered across conflicting vibrations. You are coherent. In that state, life ceases to feel like a struggle. It becomes navigation. You no longer force outcomes. You align with them. You no longer beg the universe. You remember you are part of it. You no longer chase possibility. You collapse it into form through resonance. This is the art of quantum navigation, steering not through control, but through coherence. And so the invitation is simple. Observe yourself. Notice the signals you broadcast. Choose coherence where you can. Not perfectly, not all at once, but moment by moment. Because each moment of alignment is not small. It is the very architecture of reality. Most people imagine time as a straight line. One moment follows another in an endless sequence, carrying us from past to present to future. But the deeper we look into quantum physics, the less this story holds true. Time is not a river pushing us forward. It's an ocean of possibilities surrounding us, waiting to be observed. What we call the future isn't ahead of us. It exists here, now, as a series of uncollapsed probabilities inside the quantum field. This field is vast, infinite, and precise. Each potential timeline is a wave of energy vibrating at a particular frequency. Your awareness, your state of being, collapses one of these waves into form. And this collapse doesn't occur because you wish for it. It occurs because your entire system, your thoughts, emotions, and energy align with it. This is the observer effect, not as theory, but as lived experience. Think of a radio dial. Countless stations are playing simultaneously. The music you hear is not the only one broadcasting. It's simply the one you've tuned to. Life works the same way. You are surrounded by infinite realities, each broadcasting its own frequency. When your vibration matches one of those frequencies, you hear it, meaning you collapse it into your lived timeline. The other stations do not vanish. They remain, but they are no longer your experience. This is why so many feel trapped. They wake up each morning broadcasting the same quantum signature they broadcast yesterday. Their emotions replay the same chemistry. Their body rehearses the same reactions. Their mind circles the same thoughts. Without realizing it, they are tuning to the same station repeatedly. And so life feels static, repetitive, predictable. The quantum realm offers infinite timelines, but the old self is addicted to the familiar frequency. Here's the paradox. The comfort of repetition is also the prison of limitation. The quantum memories of fear, doubt, or scarcity become grooves in the nervous system. The body prefers them, not because they feel good, but because they feel known. And so you unconsciously anchor yourself to timelines that mirror your past, rather than stepping into those that reflect your potential. But this anchor can be dissolved. The key lies in coherence and awareness. Each time you witness your emotions, instead of fusing with them, you weaken the program. Each time you choose gratitude instead of resentment, you shift resonance. Each time you embody the perspective of your higher self, you align with a new frequency, and when you sustain that alignment, the field responds. A new probability wave collapses, a new timeline becomes reality. This is not metaphor. The quantum mechanics are clear. Energy organizes matter, frequency shapes form. Consciousness is not just a passenger, it is the very navigator of reality. To be quantumly linked to your elevated self is to realize that you are never chasing a future. You are always tuning into one. Now imagine what this means in practical life. Picture a version of you who has already healed, already succeeded, already stepped into harmony. That self exists, vibrating now in the multiverse. They are not a fantasy. They are one of the infinite selves available in the quantum world. The separation between you and them is not distance or time. It is resonance. When you broadcast the frequency of that self, you step into their timeline. When you embody their state of being, the field reorganizes reality around it. This is why identity transformation is essential. You cannot step into a new timeline while broadcasting the energy of the old self. If your nervous system is addicted to fear, you will continue to collapse timelines of fear. If your emotional body is loyal to scarcity, you will keep encountering scarcity. The shift requires more than thinking differently. It requires dissolving the quantum anchor of the past and attuning to a new signature. This process can feel like death and rebirth. One self dissolves so another may emerge. The quantum reconfiguration is not always gentle. Old patterns rise to the surface, not to sabotage you, but to be witnessed and released. Doubts resurface, not because you're failing, but because your system is detoxing from them. Each wave of discomfort is evidence that your body is rewriting its program. And when the old self releases, coherence becomes possible. The heart and mind synchronize. The electromagnetic field stabilizes. The quantum effects ripple outward. Synchronicities appear. Not because the universe suddenly favors you, but because you've become resonant with them. The world reorganizes because you've reorganized. In this sense, manifestation is not effort, it is remembrance. You are not inventing a new future. You are remembering the self who already lives it. You are not building a new path. You are walking onto one that was always present. You are not dragging reality toward you. You are attuning to the version that matches your essence. Think of it as stepping through mirrors. Each mirror reflects a version of you, fearful, hopeful, abundant, alone, free. You've been walking through the same mirrors for years, unaware that countless others stand beside them. The moment you shift resonance, a new reflection lights up. And when you step through it, the entire stage of life changes. The quantum universe is astonishingly neutral. It does not reward or punish. It mirrors. It reflects coherence back to coherence, chaos back to chaos. The invitation is not to beg the field to change, but to change the signal you broadcast, to tune yourself into harmony, to stabilize your resonance, to embody the version of you who already thrives. This is where practices like meditation, breathwork, and gratitude rituals matter. They are not empty routines. They are tools to bring coherence to the signal. They help dissolve the chaos of survival states and stabilize the harmony of creation. Over time, these practices retrain the body to feel safe in elevated emotions, allowing new timelines to stabilize as lived reality. And what emerges is profound. You begin to see non-local correlations, events that defy linear explanation yet feel inevitable. A thought aligns with a meeting. An intuition aligns with an opportunity. A choice aligns with a door opening. These are not coincidences. They are the architecture of resonance expressing itself through your life. The old narrative of chance and randomness dissolves. In its place arises the truth of alignment. You are not separate from the quantum field. You are the field materialized. Your reality is not distant from your vibration. It is your vibration expressed. The boundaries between self and universe blur, and you realize that consciousness is not just inside you, it is the very fabric of the cosmos. From this awareness, a different kind of responsibility emerges. Not the heavy responsibility of control, but the light responsibility of resonance. You no longer ask, how can I force reality to give me what I want? Instead, you ask, how can I align with the version of me who already lives what I desire? The first question creates struggle. The second creates coherence. And as coherence deepens, the field responds faster. Timelines collapse with greater precision. The lag between intention and manifestation shortens. The feedback becomes immediate. You think gratitude and opportunities arise. You feel peace and situations stabilize. You embody abundance and doors open, not as miracles, but as physics. This is the path of quantum navigation, not forcing, but aligning, not chasing, but remembering, not controlling, but resonating. The multiverse is alive with possibility. Every version of you already exists, and the choice of who you become lies not in the future, but in the frequency you embody now. So as you breathe into this moment, remember, time is not carrying you. You are carrying time. The timelines you experience are not predetermined. They are selected, collapsed, and stabilized by your resonance. The quantum beacon guiding you is not outside. It is your own consciousness, attuned to harmony. The invitation is not to wait for reality to change, but to recognize that it already has. The old self is dissolving, the new self is rising, and reality, as always, is listening. There comes a moment in every journey when the path folds back upon itself, when you realize that what you were searching for was never distant. The future you longed for, the freedom you imagined, the wholeness you prayed for, it was always present, hidden beneath layers of conditioning, waiting for you to tune into its frequency. This is the paradox of the quantum universe. Nothing is far away. Every potential exists here, vibrating now, alive in the quantum field. You are not chasing possibilities, you are collapsing them. You are not moving toward your destiny, you are resonating with it. And as you shift your vibration, reality reshapes itself in ways both subtle and profound. The old self believes in distance. It says, someday I will be ready. Someday I will be free. But the observer effect reveals a deeper truth. The act of observing with awareness collapses possibility into form. And who you are in that observation, fearful or trusting, fragmented or coherent, determines which world you experience. Look back for a moment at the cycles you've endured. The repetitive thoughts, the emotional echoes, the quantum memories that kept you bound. Each loop was not random, it was resonance. You were loyal to a frequency that kept collapsing the same timeline, not as punishment, but as precision. The field mirrors exactly what you embody. And yet, even in those cycles, something within you remained untouched, a whisper, a knowing, a quiet pull from the higher self, reminding you that limitation was never the truth. That whisper is your compass, your quantum beacon, guiding you through the noise of the old identity toward the coherence of the infinite self. What does this self look like? It doesn't cling to the past because it knows time is fluid. It doesn't fear the future because it knows the future already exists. It lives in alignment with the quantum realm, aware of the harmony between thought, emotion, and action. It radiates coherence, not as performance, but as presence. And this self isn't waiting to be built, it is waiting to be remembered. Every glimpse of gratitude, every moment of peace, every act of trust has already connected you to it. Each choice to embody resonance strengthens the quantum link between who you were and who you truly are. So the invitation is not to become something else. It is to dissolve everything that is not you. The fear that taught you to shrink, the doubt that kept you from acting, the shame that convinced you to hide. These were only frequencies, temporary anchors. Release them, and the quantum world reconfigures around your essence. Because when you change, reality must change. Not slowly, not someday, but now. The instant your vibration shifts, the field responds. The mirrors rearrange, the timelines reorganize, and what once felt unreachable reveals itself as inevitable. This is why transformation feels both miraculous and ordinary. Miraculous because the external world seems to move in impossible ways. Opportunities appear, synchronicities align, doors open. Ordinary because deep down you realize it was always meant to be. It was always part of the design. You are not a fragment in an indifferent cosmos. You are the cosmos expressing itself through form. You are not a wanderer lost in chance. You are quantumly linked to every possibility, every timeline, every self. The field is not outside of you. You are the field embodied. And so here, at the closing of this journey, the question is simple. Will you remain loyal to the old resonance, or will you embody the self that has always been waiting? The universe does not choose for you, it mirrors you. The choice is always yours. Take a breath. Feel it in your chest. This is not theory. This is transmission. This is remembrance. The infinite self is already alive within you, waiting for you to say yes, not someday, but now. And if this message resonates with your soul, then let your action carry your frequency. Share this video to ripple the field, subscribe to anchor the resonance, and like to amplify the vibration across timelines.